How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Spirit Speaks Experience. Such a pleasure as always to be here with you. Awesome. Okay, so as always, we are going to begin. Before we do all that, I'm Rosemary Knight. How are you doing? I'm Rosemary Knight. I am the Prosperity Minister. I'm here to support ambitious spiritual people, to leave behind the pain, the limiting beliefs of the past, to rise victorious in your true design life. If you're that ambitious spiritual person that knows that you have a message, you have something inside of you that needs to come out, that you are called in some way to heal, to teach, to coach, to counsel, you have spiritual wisdom, you have current skills, you have experiences that you would like to convert into something that generates at least 5 to 10K for you, then you get a copy of my book called the Money Manifestation Mastery and Strategic Divine Guidance book. All you need to do is comment the word book and I will get that sent out. Okay, so we'll start by reading the divine download that we're looking at this time. Listen in, close your eyes, hopefully have a notebook to hand because there'll probably be things that the divine is saying to you about this. So close your eyes and just hear the words here. Your mind, and therefore your life, is split and distributed all over the place. This does lead to a dilution of your power. It begins to feel like nothing works when this happens for you are at the stage in development now when your power must be very focused on a specific direction in order to bring forth the fruit of the harvest. As you develop your focus and power, you will be able to create more things more swiftly. But for now, you must pull your energy back from non priority things and focus it on priorities. This is a choice you keep making until it becomes second nature to you. Focus. Pour all your power and energy into the creation of a specific thing. See it manifest. Understand yourself to be the powerful one who created it and then focus on your next goal. My love flows through the channel you set up for it to flow through. Your focus is that channel. The more you do this, the clearer the channel becomes, for my love dissolves those things that hinder and block up your channel. But again, you are the master of your own focus. You decide where to place it. Do not be so split, so diffuse, so spread out. For now, you must practice focus. For now, you must practice focus. So we start with your mind, and therefore your life is split and distributed all over the place. This does lead to a dilution of your power. Okay. And it simply is exactly that, isn't it? If your mind is all over the place, it does, your energy is spread all over the place. This even applies to people who try to start 20 million businesses at the same time. There's this idea inside of you that if I start 5 businesses that seem likely, that surely one of them will work, and if one of them works, then I can really focus on that one, and then it will all be well. But most people who do try this, in fact, I haven't personally heard of anybody who's tried this and succeeded with all 5. Usually, what tends to happen when you try and do 5 things at once is, what's that saying? Chase 2 birds, catch none, and chase 5 businesses, catch none. Focus all over the place, manifest nothing. Focus all over the place, manifest nothing. And I understand that people have a tendency to think, oh, but I don't know how to focus. You do. You are very good at focusing at certain things. You are very practiced at focusing on certain things. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we go. But for now, starting here, your mind and therefore your life is split and distributed all over the place. This does lead to a dilution of your power. Okay. When your focus is split all over the place, your power is split all over the place. You are trying to create things, it will prove incredibly difficult to to create anything if you're worrying about this and you're starting something over there, then abandoning something else over there. You're checking to see whether the physical reality has changed, and you're getting disheartened, and then you're, oh, let's try and focus here. Oh, but look at what that person said over there, and your mind is all over the place. And then think about all the life issues anyway happening. Oh, I'm arguing with that person, or that person said this about me. Oh, that person looked at me funny, or I'm not feeling well in my body, and everything happening, everything in your mind all of the time. Greetings, Shante. Or everything in your mind all over the place, all of the time. That is a recipe for preventing the manifestation of of anything because you're focused all over the place. It's almost like, what do you want? The universe is asking, what do you want? What do you want? But you're all over the place, all over the place, all over the place, thinking about this, thinking about that, thinking about the other, getting disheartened. Then, no. Divine goes on to say, you are at the stage in development now when your power must be very focused on a specific direction in order to bring forth the fruit of the harvest. Okay, for most of us in this community, or most of you, all depends on where you are. You're no longer. I like to split it into stage one, stage two, and stage three. Okay, stage one is I call them the blissfully ignorant. So they don't know anything about this whole manifestation stuff, or they call it. They might be really really caught up in religion and spiritual, well, certain forms of spirituality, but particularly religion or feeling victimized by life. That's stage one. They're blissfully ignorant. So yes, they pray about stuff, but there's the feeling that it has nothing to do with them, whether this thing shows up. It's all completely to do with this deity in the sky who is going to determine whether they have something or don't have anything. They have no power. That's why they're in a kind of a victimy kind of place. So they're either victims of the divine or they're victims of their circumstances, but they just don't know that they have power. Stage two is somebody who does know, which is probably most of y'all listening to me. There's a part of you that knows that you have power, or there's a lot of you that knows that you have power. If you've ever tried to achieve anything bigger than what you've done before, the chances that you've gotten into personal development and trying to become more, and one of the first things you learn in personal development or self-help is to take full responsibility for what shows up in your life. Okay. And so when it comes to even the spiritual side of things, where you, as I said at the beginning, we are divine beings having a human experience, so we recognize that it's not enough just to work really hard. We also need to make sure that all our thoughts, our actions, our thoughts, our words, thoughts and feelings are also in alignment with what we say we want, because we recognize that the inner work plus the outer work is exactly what brings the result. But when you're in stage two, you're aware of this, so you're painfully awake. So you know you're awake. You do know that you have a lot more authority over the creation of your life than you thought you did. However, if you haven't quite mastered it, there's the feeling that you are that middle phase, in fact, is even more painful than the blissfully ignorant, because you know that you can create things. You also haven't mastered how to do it. And that's what the divine is talking about here for you in stage two, is you know that you can create things. The fact that you know, and you might even have had some kind of miracle where you tried some manifestation trick or strategy, and it is like when people do the 14-day prosperity reset the very first time, they usually have some kind of miracle money showing up. But then try to do it again without continually developing yourself, and it doesn't work in exactly the same way. Why? Because we have to keep growing. It's like stuff that you would have been acceptable for you to act like when you were 5 years old. Now that you're 40, you cannot act in the same way as a 5 year old and expect to get some kind of result. And the same thing with spiritual growth. As you get more aware of your power, you become more powerful. And so, as the divine is saying here, at this stage in your development, you do need to really truly start to focus, to be very focused on a specific direction in order to bring forth the fruit of the harvest. Because if not, you will find that your focus is creating things, but not necessarily the things that you want. Because especially if your focus is all over the place and you're split all over the place, your life will start to feel all over the place. And this is where it becomes the stage two, the painfully awakened, because you're awake, you know it could be better, but you can't seem to make it better. So yes, it feels the same what's happening in your brain with the lack of focus. Your life starts to feel a lack of focus as well. Okay, because you're not a newbie at this. You can't afford to keep allowing your mind to wander all over the place. Okay, there'll come a time when yeah, you're focused, you know enough now that you're powerful enough to remain focused in order to speed up your manifestations. And I like to say to my clients, it's like focus on the thing that you desire to the exclusion of everything else, which for a lot of people is hard to do, because There's so many things that you're caught up in thinking about that you have decided are so important to think about. You're not solving any of them by over worrying or stressing out about them, but it almost feels responsible to think and worry about things, to ruminate and ruminate. And your brain, the design of your brain is to ruminate. Okay. Now, what you want to be ruminating is on the creation of what you want, rather than ruminating on all the things you're afraid of. But the tendency for most humans is to ruminate over the things that they're afraid of not having, or the things they're afraid will happen if they do not ruminate. And as I said, there's a feeling that if I'm not worried about something, then it must mean that I'm not taking it that seriously and I'm not being responsible. But it's not true. Worrying about something you do not want to have happen, it's actually detrimental to your life. Okay. You are at the stage now where you really cannot afford to allow your mind to go all over the place all of the time. You can't afford to do that, particularly if you want to speed up your manifestations. And the strength of your focus really does determine how quickly things manifest in your life. So the quicker you learn to keep your mind focused on what you actually want, the quicker things will start to happen for you. The divine goes on to say you must pull your energy back from non-priority things and focus it on priorities. Okay. So you do need to decide what matters actually right now. No, it's not what is urgent, because there's always urgent things pulling you here, there, and everywhere. And if you keep responding to just the urgent stuff, you will never get to the important things. And the important things would generally tend to solve the urgent things. So people get worried, okay, in my bank account right now, there's not as much money as I would like. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so they start to panic about that short term issue right now. When really, what you need to be focused on is, okay, I do not want to be in this place ever again. So, what do I need to do over the long term to ensure that I don't keep coming back to this place? Because just getting a little bit of money to get you out of that immediate, oh my God state isn't going to stay consistent. Whereas for some of y'all, you've been delaying starting a new income path, a more purpose aligned income path. So, like, yeah, as I was saying earlier, the whole taking your current skills, taking your experience, taking your expertise, taking your spiritual wisdom, taking your self-help knowledge, all of that stuff. Or some of y'all have even done all kinds of different certifications of things that you want to use to serve people. And instead of seeing that as a priority, to start that income path so that you never get yourself into a place where you are struggling for money, you spend lots of time getting all panicked about where you are right now. And so you keep trying to solve where you are right now. And it might even become a thing of pride that you always man, just get yourself out of this mess, which is great. But who wants to keep going into the mess? So as I say, some of the problems you're facing that take up all of your attention right now, if you would stop looking at just the problems and actually look at your big picture goals and focus on those, some of those immediate issues would not be issues for you anymore. Do you see what I'm saying? That because you're always focused on the urgent, oh my God, the thing's right in front of your face. Oh my God, I need to sort it out. Okay, then you sort it out. Somehow you always come to the other side of it. But then again, you find yourself back in the same place again because you didn't stay focused on your actual priority goals. And if you did stay focused on your priority goals, you would have solved all of these urgent little, oh my God, and not have so many of them. What what is your priority goal? What are the priority things for you right now? For real, not the urgent things. What are the important things that you've been thinking about doing for a while, but every time some urgent thing takes you off path, every time some drama, some means that you're focusing just on the drama instead of the how do I make sure my life is constantly expanding so that these immediate issues are no longer a thing for me. Let's elevate. Let's expand to your next level, for goodness sake, instead of continually recycling the same issues over and over and over and over again. Pull back your energy from non priority things. I don't care how in your face they are. If you keep just trying to solve these in your face issues without looking at what is causing these? What is the big thing that I need to be working towards? Then you'll always have in your face issues. This is how people work hard their whole life and really don't accomplish much because they're always just a little bit ahead instead of creating a life where they are a lot ahead. And sometimes it takes emotional resilience because, yes, those urgent things are calling you. They're shouting your name. They're saying, you need to pay attention to me. You need to look at me, basically. And, and you're looking at them and trying to solve them all the time. So, you have to become someone who is not so swayed by things happening. Okay, they're happening. You worrying and running around like a crazy person might solve it for a second, but it's not going to solve it in the long term. I'm not saying be responsible about this stuff, but I am saying you need to start seeing the big picture. You need to start seeing the big picture. You need to get out of the underground with all the noise, the nonsense, and the drama, with the fear and the doubts and the pulling you here, there, and everywhere, and everybody else's agenda for you and all of that. You need to get up to your throne room and stay there, for goodness sake, and stay there where the focus really is on you, the divine, and your goal. Because in bringing your goal to life, some of the immediate stuff starts to fade away, if not all of it. You might find that just by being goal focused, being vision focused, most of your immediate issues disappear. But it takes emotional resilience because, as I say, they are yelling at you for your attention. They're yelling at you for your attention, and you can't keep giving it. You can't keep giving your attention to the wrong stuff. Okay? Um, one way for focus is because sometimes people think, okay, but I just don't know how to focus. I just can't seem to get my brain to stay focused in one place. Something I like to, and this I suppose was a divine saying to me a few years ago now. It's like write, speak, see, and feel. Write down your goals, speak your goals, see your goals, feel the reality of your goals being done. That brings you back into focus on your goal, on your vision, rather than frantically whatever. So when you find yourself frantic about whatever immediate issues are there and it's taking your focus away from your priorities, right, take a break from it and get your journal out, get your notebook out, and start writing down your vision again. Bring yourself back to your vision. And you may have to do this because sometimes people are looking for some kind of miraculous way that is going to make them suddenly more focused. It is the same way you learned to focus on the things you do not want is how you're going to learn to focus on the things you do, except you're going to be a lot more deliberate this time. So instead of just passively allowing any old thing in your brain, you're going to very deliberately choose what to put in your brain by writing it down, speaking it, seeing it, feeling it. Yeah, if you've read my prosperity book, I talk about this here, right? Speak, see, feel. Let that be when you find your mind going off in whatever, take a moment, start writing down your goal. Start writing it down. Start speaking it. And you may need to do this 20 million times instead of continually looking to see, oh, has it changed yet? Has everything changed yet? Has my manifestation come? Have I manifested that amount of money? Oh, look at the physical reality. Oh my God, look at my bank account. Ah, enough of that. I'm not saying it's easy, particularly not when you're in the habit of panicking about whatever. You need to train, retrain, reprogram, and it will mean time and time and time and time again, you come back to what you've chosen to create, not the fear of it not being created. Okay? Time and time again, you have to keep coming back to and in some ways it's simple, it's straightforward. As soon as you notice that your brain has gone off in all kinds of different weird and wonderful directions, instead of beating yourself up about the fact that, oh, I just don't know how to focus, just refocus. 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 The first day you'll have to do it at least 1 million times. Do not see yourself as anything is as strange just because you have to do it many times. That is just normal. Refocus, 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 refocus. There's a part of you that doesn't want to, because especially the more years you spend in the physical reality, the more likely you've been through a few disappointments. It gets scary to give all of your attention to a specific goal in case you get disappointed. It's part of you like, suppose I do focus everything on it to put my whole heart into this thing and it still doesn't work. What if I believe and nothing changes? And so because you're afraid of disappointment, you allow your mind to just go all over the place. And so when you're disappointed, almost you're still disappointed. So I'm not really sure what the gain is here, but we all do it. I know I've done it. And I can sometimes even still do it if I'm not careful, if I'm not watchful of myself, if I'm not listening to what the divine is saying to me, saying, "Hey, Rosemary, you're not paying attention to your goal because you're worried that it's not going to happen." And so you're trying to prevent disappointment by disappointing yourself ahead of time. Why do that? Why do that? Because then your focus is definitely not on manifesting the thing you want. It is on the fact that it's probably not going to happen. And guess what you get? It probably doesn't happen. And then you think, oh, well, I knew it. I've tried everything and nothing ever works for me. Stop saying that kind of stuff. It's not true. You are not the exception to the rule. You are not the exception to the rule. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. The practice isn't that you're going to become perfect at focus overnight. No, it's that you just keep coming back again and again and again. When you notice your mind ruminating over all the things you're afraid of, come back to the goal. When you notice yourself checking the physical reality, has it worked yet? Has it worked yet? Has it worked yet? Oh, it hasn't worked. Oh my God, is it ever going to work? I don't know. The moment you notice, come back again to focusing on the goal. When you notice yourself imagining all the things that you're going to fail at and, oh, what am I going to do? Come back to the goal. But again, as I say, do not spend time when you notice that you're focusing on the wrong thing. Do not spend time berating yourself about it. That too is a lack of focus. Just come back to the goal. Notice that you're away from the goal, come back to the goal. Notice, come back to the goal. Notice, come back to the goal. No drama, no punishment, no self attack. Just practice focus. Okay. And you can start by saying simple phrases. If you, because yes, as I said, you can write out your goal. But if you don't have time to write out your goal a few times, and have sentences that represent your goal. So when you write it down, you know what you're talking about. You can immediately see yourself living that vision, achieving the thing that you know you want to achieve, and all of that. Sometimes you don't have time to get your journal out and do all of that. So have phrases, have affirmations that you're repeating and repeating and repeating yourself. People sometimes say, "Oh, affirmations don't work for me," and blah blah blah. You just the truth of the matter is most people do not realize the amount of times you're going to have to use an affirmation for it to work for you. You do not realize that since birth, or at least since you were aware, you have been thinking about 60,000 thoughts a day. But then suddenly people discover affirmations and they discover visualization and they discover all this stuff. And they think that if I just do this, it should, if I've done it, so you have 60,000 thoughts a day that are all usually focused on the same thing you've been focusing on for the last 10 years, which is why you're getting the same results over and over and over again. But somehow you think that if you say an affirmation and you stop those 60,000 thoughts for about 5 of them, and there's somehow 5 times that you've said an affirmation or written it down, or even 50 times that you've written it down or said it, that will somehow come against the 60 freaking thousand thoughts that you have been ruminating over for God knows how long. Now you can hear that and feel, oh my God, you mean I have to somehow come against 60 freaking thousand thoughts? And I can get it. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, maybe you're not going to have to replace all 60,000 thoughts. But I am saying, expecting your affirmations and visualizations and or even the physical action you're taking to suddenly to immediately work within 3 seconds when you have been spending the last 10 years, the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years thinking in a certain way, ruminating over the same old painful things and all of that. And somehow you think, okay, I've tried this for 3 weeks. It should all be working by now. Really? For most people, it's like running a business. Okay. For most people, the reason why your business hasn't worked, if or you've tried a business and it hasn't worked, and so now you think it's all a scam, or it's not possible for you, or somehow you are not cut out for it, it's simply because it got uncomfortable and you stopped, basically, because you thought, well, I've tried and it's not working, so therefore, give up. But the truth of the matter is, for people who succeed at these things, is that it gets uncomfortable and they freaking keep going. Will you be that person? So, anyway, coming back to the internal side of things, because yes, there's practical things that need to be done. But one of the reasons why you won't do the practical stuff is because your internal world is in a bit of a mess. I'm not asking that you need to be perfect at this. I am definitely not perfect at this. But what I am is persistent and consistent at, okay, I see where my brain is going. I'm just so much better now at noticing when my brain is in a place I do not want it to go. I'm not going to pretend that there's some days I have really bad days. Those days, It's like I very deliberately decide I'm going to have a nap, or very deliberately decide, you know what, I'm going to watch something funny. I'm going to watch something funny. I'm going to play a game. I'm going to read my fiction. These days I read my fiction because I suddenly realize, why am I denying myself joys? Basically. And that's the thing about being in stage two. A stage two painfully awakened person is that you generally have cut out all the joy in your life because you're trying to get everything so perfect. Nobody's asking for perfection from you except you. And you're not going to be perfect at this immediately, and you don't need to be. You just need to notice when your brain is somewhere that doesn't want it, you don't want it to be, bring it back. So whether it's that by using phrases that you use to trigger yourself back into, okay, I'm focusing on my goal, I'm focusing on my goal, or whether it's that you write it out in your journal, or sometimes because you're having a really bad day and you really can't get your brain in gear, it's you just stop and go and do something fun. Very deliberately put yourself in a position where you're having fun. Hey Caroline, how you doing, my love? So yeah, so or you can use simple phrases that I say. So things like, well, success, or I am her now. So when you say that, or I am him now, if you're male, when you say that, you get this feeling of the completion of the goal. I have done it. It's like when I start working with clients first, one of the first things I get them to do is write out who they now choose to be. So that when they say, I am her or him now, they know what they mean. They can already see the picture of the life that they've chosen to create and all of that stuff. And you say it repeatedly, or you say things like, it's all already mine. Or money flows to me with ease, simplicity, and speed. Yes, and I know there are going to be times when you're saying this stuff and you're looking at your bank account and thinking, it doesn't seem to be flowing to me with any kind of ease at all. Basically. And I get it. But look at your bank account and feeling all sad and sorry about it. You've been doing that for years. Has it worked for you? Has it made things better? I didn't think so. So, so why don't we stop doing that? It doesn't get us anywhere. So I get it. I get why it can feel like I need, and we've all been trained to see the physical reality as the only true reality, but it's not true. Divine beings having a human experience. Divine beings having a human experience. Guess what? Even when you pass on to your next experience, you, the divine being part of you, is still going to exist. Okay, so the divine part of you is actually more eternal than the physical reality, but it's not easy to know this because we've been trained to see that the physical reality is the only reality, but it isn't. Okay, but anyway, that's how you keep coming back to focus. That's how you keep coming back to focus. That's how you keep coming back to focus. And the divine set goes on to say, my love flows through the channel you set for it to flow through. Your focus is that channel. So whatever you're focusing on, when you stay connected to the divine, you're one with the divine, you stay connected to the divine, and divine love is flooding through you, it will, because understand this, everything in the physical reality is love energy materialized. So when I say that, think of ice and steam. It's the same substance, but one is solid, one is steamy, basically gas-like. And so love energy converts into these solid things like the computer I'm on, the phone I'm looking at, blah, 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 all of that. It is all love energy materialized. So you focusing on the vision you've decided to create, so you see this picture of what you want to create within you, because remember, as much as the physical reality seems so real, everything starts within. It's like all of you with your iPhones. I am so not an Apple person, although I do have my Apple MacBook, but I'm not an iPhone person. So, so all of you with the iPhones, it started in Steve Jobs' imagination. He saw it, he saw the picture of it, and then he started taking action to bring it to life. And that's the same thing with anything. It all starts within. As spiritual people, we sometimes give lip service to this, whilst we spend most of our time looking at the physical reality and getting all, oh my God, what's the physical reality doing? When you forget that the physical reality comes last. It comes last. So you would have seen it, you would have pictured it, you'd be in the vision of whatever it is you're choosing to create, whether it's negative or positive, honey, which is why you want to make sure your focus is on what you want, not what you don't. We are actually quite blessed that we do not get our thoughts immediately, because if we did, some some of our lives would be quite terrible. And this is not about blaming or shaming or anything. So this isn't about you suddenly getting all, as I said already, it's not about berating yourself for not being able to focus enough. It is simply noticing and retraining. Noticing and retraining. So you see the vision inside of you, you focus on it, Focus is the channel for love energy to flood to this thing, causing you to become magnetic to the physical equivalent. So then the physical equivalent starts to come into your life. And if that makes no sense, you need to read my book, Prosperity. The Prosperity book, you can ask about that and I'll send you the link to that. So you'd have to tell me specifically, because if you send me the message for book, you'll get the one I'm giving away for free right now. But if you want the Prosperity book, which really goes into detail on how this whole manifestation thing works, then you're going to actually ask for the Prosperity book. But that's how it works ultimately. So your focus, what you're focusing on within you, so what are you seeing, what is the picture you're seeing inside of you, and that focus, love energy is flooding to it, and that will materialize if you will stay focused on it. Because most of our focus is on things we do not want, that sometimes is why either you get nothing, so you just stay kind of even when you're looking for more, or things actually go worse. We don't want things to keep going worse, okay? So, and the divine goes on to say, the more you focus, the clearer the channel becomes, for because a lot of people spend a lot of time trying to clear all the blocks and the this and that in the inside of them. Love energy does that too. It will help you clear all the noise, the nonsense and drama inside of you, all the fears and whatever. If you are focusing that love energy, you're allowing divine love to flood through you, it will automatically start to heal you. Doesn't mean you don't have to do any of, well, actually, sometimes it does mean that you don't actually have to do all kinds of different healing things, but sometimes those things are fun to do. So basically, but whichever way, if you don't know how to focus divine love, then you better do as much healing as you as whatever. But don't spend all your time just looking for things to heal. There's always something to heal. But anyway, coming back to this. If you want to speed up your manifestations, you want to focus on the thing you actually want, not the lack of the thing you want. Focus on the things you actually want. Love energy has the power to, one, bring your actual things to life, and two, clear anything in the way of bringing your actual goals to life. Okay? Yes, there will be practical actions that need to be taken as well. But again, the more you focus on what you want, you'll be intuitively guided to, okay, this seems like the best next thing for me to do. This seems like the best next thing for me to do. And keep it to joyous actions. No, the divine isn't trying to make you go down the most horrible route to what you want. Like sometimes people come to work with me and they're like, oh, am I going to have to do social media the way I see everybody else doing it? I don't think I want. It's like, honey, there's loads of different ways that you can get to where you want to go. Let's figure out what you prefer. You do not have to do anything. You just think you do. Because again, that's the way we've been trained to think, well, you just do whatever you have to do to survive. It's not true. But if you believe it, it becomes true for you because you act as though it's true. And then because you've acted like it's true, you tell yourself, I had no choice. I had to act that way. Really? Are you sure about that? Or did you not really give yourself a choice? Okay. And some of these things I'm saying, it's particularly we've been trained the way we have been, they're scary. They're scary. I know. It's like, oh, that seems like a risk not to do things the way I've always done them. I get it. But again, this is where you're going to have to, you want uncommon success, you're going to have to do some uncommon things. Okay? You're going to have to do some uncommon things. So, anyway, coming back to how to speed up your manifestations, ultimately focus on what you actually want, not what you don't. When you find your focus split all over the place, write it, speak it, see it, feel it. Bring yourself back. Do not spend time, oh my God, I'm not focused. Forget all of that. Come back to focus. Come back to focus. Come back to focus. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to end by saying the love prayer together. If you are in the place where you can actually see my screen, if you're on Facebook, then you are in that place. Or if you are in my Zoom-like thing, then you are in that place. Otherwise, sorry, if you're on Insta, you won't be able to see this, but you can still close your eyes and I will say it out loud. You can allow love to flood through you. I call this the love prayer. Okay, so here we go. You can go hands on heart, close your eyes if you can't actually see the words. If you can't see the words, feel free to join me in saying them. Here we go. Your love dissolves all layers of doubt. Your love dissolves all layers of fear. Your love keeps me focused. Your love keeps me clear. Your love dissolves all layers of guilt. Your love dissolves all layers of shame. Your love keeps me focused. Your love keeps me in the game. Your love dissolves all layers of regret. Your love dissolves all layers of despair. Your love restores my hope, my peace, my joy. Your love restores my youth and my years. Your love dissolves all resentment. Your love dissolves all hate. Your love dissolves any bitter root within me. Your love rebuilds my self trust and my faith. Your love flows freely through me right now, evolving, resolving, dissolving. Your love flows freely through me right now, harmonizing and adjusting. Your love flows freely through me right now, resolving, dissolving, evolving. Your love makes me magnetic to the desires of my heart. You just take a moment and see your big goal. See your big goal. Is it that business you want to get started? Is it that money you want to create that comes through consistently? Is it the promotion you want to get at work? Is it the relationship you want to be in? Is it the healing for your body? See yourself at that goal. See yourself talking about it with somebody, saying, yes, it happened. Focus on it. Allow divine love to bring it to life in you right now. Okay, and we continue. I feel your love propelling me forward into greater and greater financial prosperity right now. Money, wealth, riches are flooding into my life from everywhere and in great abundance with ease and with speed. Thank you. Okay, and that, my darlings, brings us to the end of today's Spirit Speak experience. It was a pleasure to share this stuff with you. Until the next time, my lovelies, go forth and prosper. Bye.